every citizen in free democratic country. This is Seoul 비상시국연대 studio. Good afternoon. This is a spokesman Youngjae Choi and Dr. Choi Sung-hwan to provide and satisfy to all your curiosities about the most media attention receiving topic in South Korean currently. By the title of to be published Country Reports on Human Rights Practice 2020, especially about the South Korea by Biden administration's U.S. Department of the State, and also our fact check as the South Korean free media and press are severely distorted and censored by the dominating nomenclatures. You would experience difficulty getting genuine information through the Korean government leading intelligence sources. Many South Korean citizens position the leftist Moon Jae-in and the Democratic Party 더불어민주당 leftist affiliation subordinates have had sentiments deep down in heart that Donald Trump should win the 2021 United States presidential election, convinced of the Democrats Joe Biden might take sides with the Moon Jae-in's totalitarianism, autocracy, and fawn upon the Kim Jong-un's Pyongyang and Xi Jinping's Beijing syndicate. Not knowing that the United States, both parties were originated from a single party at the times of the George Washington.
These Koreans, we Koreans inside or abroad Korea, are eager to believe such conspiracy theories traveling throughout the world are the genuine fans of previous President Donald Trump.
Okay.
But I analogous believes that Biden administration will actively support their pro-communist policies dominates the moronic leftist group, including Moon Jae-in's entourage and followers and the Democratic Party of South Korea, simply because their name, Democratic Party, is identical.
Yeah.
Federalist Party and the Anti-Federalist Party, which became known as a Democratic Republican Party, was sometimes called Jeffersonian Republic. You know the president, Jefferson. Jeffersonian Republican and National Republican Party, also called the Anti-Jacksonian Party. So the Democratic Party was led by Andrew Jackson. There was a foreign column titled in December 2011 saying that when Democrats became doves, that means Democratic was a hawk, right? And they become a peaceful dove. So adding such additional explanation is that in the process heralded the shift of the Democratic Party from Cold War hawks into anti-war doves. This must be the effect of an embarrassing failure in the Vietnam War. So the Biden's Democratic Party is not a communist party.
Yeah.
It is a party established under the Constitution of the United States, as mentioned above. But both the South Korean leftist totalitarian regime and such Trump admirers are lost in a mistaken thought irrationally.
Okay. The evidence of this situation and the circumstances are gradually being revealed by world news and from other official intelligence delivered to us. Most striking of all is the to be published Country Report on Human Rights Practice 2020, especially about the South Korea
Yes.
by Biden administration's U.S. Department of State. And who is the current United States Secretary of State? Yes. The answer is Antony Blinken. Yeah. What is happening to South Korea? Is South Korea becoming a target of public world grievance or even more despised nation than North Korea and Communist China?
There was a fierce crackdown by Moon Jae-in. It means
Right.
that a group of South Korean NGOs, non-government organizations, appealed to the United Nations for help against what they called an unjustified and politically motivated investigation. The actions, they said, risk stifling the entire North Korean human rights movement in South Korea. Over the past several weeks, South Korean authorities have raided the offices of the non-government organization, filed criminal complaints against the groups. We have interviewed Mr. Park Sang-hak, right?
Yeah.
Park Sang-hak.
My friend.
They
He stays this time in the United States.
we have had called him,
Yeah.
such as those kind of brave people, but the government filed criminal complaints against the groups, and in some cases even surveilled and briefly detained. He was detained, right? For physically blocked activities as they had to or form launch sites. Authorities have also moved to formally outlaw the launches and threatened to imprison violators for a year.
Correct.
South Korea's Unification Ministry revoked the NGO license of two of the most prominent leaflet campaign groups, complicating their ability to raise money.
Correct.
Officials have warned they will inspect 25 more groups, raising fears and license to will be cancelled. A group of South Korean NGOs appealed to the United Nations for help against what they called an unjustified and politically motivated investigation. The actions, they said, as before, is stifling the entire North Korean human rights movement in South Korea.
탈북자들의 단체인 자유북한운동연합은 오늘 경기도 파주의 오두산 통일전망대에서 대북전단을 살포하겠다고 예고했습니다. 자유북한운동연합은 잔인한 처형과 핵실험을 계속해오던 김정은이 갑자기 거짓 대화 공세를 벌이고 있다며 북한 주민에게 정확한 실상을 알리기 위해 계속 대북전단을 살포하겠다고 주장했습니다. 이에 대해 통일부는 군사분계선 일대에서의 전단 살포는 판문점 선언 위반이라며 중단을 촉구했고 경찰도 지역 주민의 안전을 위해 강력히 제지하겠다고 밝혔습니다.
I will say global condemnation. Many international rights groups have also condemned the crackdown with the unusual bloodiness rather than kowtow to Kim Jong-un's sister. South Korea should be standing up for its own principles, said Phil Robertson of Human Rights Watch. Last month, Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, called the leaflet launches human scum and mongrel dogs. Within hours, South Korea began pressuring the NGOs, raising accusation Moon was stifling free speech in order to placate the North. South Korean President Moon Jae-in, who began his career as a human rights lawyer, is coming under severe criticism for cracking down on activist groups calling for reform in North Korea. The Moon administration has carried out a broad campaign to prevent the organization, mostly led by North Korean defectors, from floating balloons and bottles filled with propaganda leaflets into the North. The leaflets often criticize North Koreans' human rights, recorded mock North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and sometimes packaged with items of value, such as dollar bills or USB flash drives loaded with South Korean dramas.
Yes. So the country report on human rights practice 2020, it's country report. Each country, especially South Korea, is on spot this year. This will be released on March 2021. As a October, the investigation into alleged corruption by former Justice Minister Cho Guk, his wife Jung Kyung-shim, and others connected to his family continued. In December 2019, prosecutors indicted Cho on charges of receiving bribes, graft, abuse of power, violating the ethic code of public servant, and other crimes. In June, a Seoul court sentenced the son of Cho's cousin for 4 years imprisonment for financial crimes and for concealing and destroying company documents detrimental to Cho's family. In September, the Seoul Prosecutor's Office indicted first-term National Assembly lawmaker Yoon Mi-hyun on charges of fraud, embezzlement, dereliction of duty, and other charges relating to the misuse of the fund during her tenure as a former head of the Korean Council for Justice and Remembrance for the issues of military sexual slavery by Japan, an NGO dedicated to supporting the former comfort woman. As of September, the investigation continued. On September 18th, the party expelled first-term lawmaker Kim Hong-go, son of former President Kim Dae-jung, over allegations that he had failed to report all of his real estate assets before taking office.
Yes. Sexual harassment was a significant social problem, and there were numerous allegations of sexual harassment, including high-profile cases involving public officials reported in media throughout the year. Seoul Mayor Park Won-soon died by suicide July 9th, the day after his former secretary filed a complaint to the police alleging that Park had sexually harassed her. According to the complaint, from 2017 onward, Park had repeatedly touched the woman without her consent and sent her inappropriate messages and photos. With the harassment continuing even after she transferred offices. In a statement made after Park's death, the secretary said that Park had sent her photos of him wearing only underwear and called her into a bedroom attached to his office, asking her to embrace him. By law, the case terminated after Park's death. Women's rights advocates and the complaint lawyer, however, continued to press for a complete investigation. Park was known as a champion for women's rights and was highly regarded for his successful representation in 1993 of the victim in what is seen as the country's first sexual harassment case.
We are expecting to look into the 2020 United States document about the human rights, not of North Korea, not of China, or not of Iran.
Iran.
It's all about South Korea.
Our South Korea.
Yeah. So I am very depressed about this matter.
Me too. I was very depressed. Thank you for watching our new video. Please press like and subscribe for us to make more valuable South Korean news for you. See you again. Thank you very much.